We want residents and businesses to prepare and be ready for this.
Tonight, Kalamazoo is bracing for what could be its worst flooding in 10 years.
And there looks to be some more rain on the way. In fact, a couple of areas of rain headed our way. I'm tracking it. I'll have the details on that coming up.
And putting a face to the crime, a local teen is charged with making a terroristic threat. Police say what may seem like a joke won't be treated like one.
Live, local breaking news. You're watching News Channel 3, live at 6.
Rain and snowmelt rushing relentlessly right now into West Michigan's rivers and streams.
Relentless is right. Here's a live look at Allegan, where an already swollen Kalamazoo River is threatening to push above its banks. The city has opened the floodgates at the Allegan Dam. Forecasts say the Kalamazoo River could rise another 10 inches in the next couple of days, pushing it 2 feet above flood level. Allegan city workers are also laying sandbags in areas where they've seen bad flooding in the past.
Well, we've got an exercise from 2004 and 2008 to draw from. It's important to have that documented so we know what we're dealing with. We're not guessing.
Police are using a drone to determine where flooding looks to be imminent. Chief Hoyer says he hopes that what they've done will be enough. Our live team coverage of this weather event continues tonight from across West Michigan. Meteorologist Christina Anthony is in Three Rivers, where dozens of families are being forced to evacuate their homes.
Our Frankie Thompson is covering the city of Kalamazoo's response to the flooding, but we begin with our chief meteorologist, Keith Thompson, live in Severe Weather Center 3, with a look, Keith, at even more rain coming.
Well, that's true, Andy. And with those rivers continuing to rise, that's not great news. However, right now it looks like of the 2 areas of rain headed our way, the first, which arrives early tomorrow morning, will be on the lighter side. The second one over the weekend we'll deal with later. Right now, live Doppler radar, 100-mile scan. It's all quiet, nothing going on here. We check out Storm Tracker to show you that really it's pretty quiet in the whole area. That snow that you see to the north and the west, that's going to miss us. But what we are looking at is off to the south. Here comes more rain moving through Missouri, and forecast models show that it will be arriving for us overnight. In the meantime, our temperatures now low 40s, Kalamazoo at 41, the same at Battle Creek and Three Rivers, South Haven and Allegan. Grand Rapids right now is at 38. Our overnight fastcast, cloudy with some light rain by daybreak. Important to note, though, that those temperatures will be above freezing when that rain arrives. Here's what I'm tracking. I'll have for you in about 14 minutes. Rivers continue to rise with more rain arriving overnight, and there'll be even more on Saturday. I'm taking you hour by hour through those showers coming up in a bit, Andy.
All right, Keith, thank you. Now look at this video shot from high above Three Rivers. Flooding has swallowed up big chunks of the downtown area there where all three rivers meet. Wow. It is so bad in one part of town that about 40 homes and apartments are being evacuated right now. Meteorologist Christina Anthony continues our live coverage now in Three Rivers tonight. Christina.
Floodwater flowing into homes forced the Three Rivers Fire Department to shut off water and gas to families along River Street, River Drive, and Middle Street. That means about 20 apartments and 15 to 20 homes had to evacuate. Deputy Fire Chief Jeff Bloomfield says it's the highest he's seen the St. Joseph River in his 17-year career. He's not worried about the dam holding up, but he is worried about drivers.
I caution people driving on flood-covered areas. We're seeing a lot of that, and we're seeing a lot of vehicles getting stuck in these areas, and it's pretty hazardous right now. So please, if the road's covered with water, please stay off of them.
The Three Rivers Commission on Aging will be using 103 South Douglas Avenue, that's 103 South Douglas Avenue, as a shelter for any displaced families. That's starting at 7 o'clock tonight. It will stay open as long as necessary. Live in Three Rivers, meteorologist Christina Anthony, News Channel 3.
It is a very good thing that it's not baseball season, because it may be a while before the Kalamazoo Growlers field is ready for play. Homer Stryker Field is underwater tonight. Both the field and the concession areas are flooded thanks to the Kalamazoo River. Kalamazoo County and city leaders are bracing for what could be the worst flooding in a decade. News Channel 3's Frankie Thompson is live in Kalamazoo to tell us about an emergency plan just activated. Frankie.
Kate, those city and county leaders say this potential historic flood we'll see this weekend won't last as long as what we saw in 2008, but they are saying it could be just as severe. Now tonight, Mayor Hopewell is asking all of us not to take unnecessary risk ahead of this weekend and the days following after this flood. Now, Public Service Director James Baker says right now we're looking at 11.5 feet above the water level. That marks at least 1 more foot from what we saw 10 years ago in that flood. Baker says at this time they're expecting the high waters to mostly impact traffic. Portage Road and Burdick Street are likely the first to see closures. We're also learning Bronson Hospital will have limited access. There will be detours for those in need of urgent medical attention. Right now, the city is designating a sandbag location. These sandbags will be first available to those who live and work in flood zones. Baker tells us right now at least 65 families could be displaced. Emergency management directors are saying they're encouraging everyone at home, at work, and on the roads to use caution ahead of this flood.
Will severely limit your access in and out of your home, severely limit your access in and around the street network. So we want to make sure people are prepared and that they're taking precautions now to stay ahead of that.
And emergency management directors say they will also be posting shelters throughout the area just in case those are needed for those who are displaced from this potential flood. Reporting live in downtown Kalamazoo, Frankie Thompson, News Channel 3.
Right now, Ionia County is in a state of emergency because of widespread flooding. And this is a live look over Grand Rapids, where water levels on the Grand River continue to rise. The National Weather Service expects the Grand River to be over flood stage in the downtown area by midnight. And the flood warning for downtown Grand Rapids is in effect now until Tuesday night. The flooding threats in that area have also forced this weekend's massive Winter Beer Festival at Fifth Third Ballpark to reschedule until next week. News Channel 3 will be watching all of these flooding threats for you all weekend long. Remember, you can count on us for updates on air, on our mobile app, and online at WWMT.com.
Well, terrorism charges for an Allegan County teenager tonight. 18-year-old Peter Trudell is now looking at 20 years in prison after police say he threatened a shooting worse than Florida at Otsego Public Schools. In Vicksburg, police say they've arrested a high school student who also threatened that district. Those two threats add to a long and growing list. At least 8 local schools have been threatened in the last week since the Parkland, Florida shooting. Today, Otsego schools closed after another threat was made in a neighboring district. News Channel 3's Rachel Glazer is live in our newsroom now with the new ways that police are handling these threats. Rachel.
Well, Andy, from the federal down to the local level, police departments say they're dealing with panic. People are obviously on high alert, and while reminding of the importance of reporting any possible threats, law enforcement is also making sure people know about the serious consequences of making a threat, even when there are no real plans of violence. Don't go to school tomorrow. I'm telling you, this is going to be bad. That warning police traced to a Plainwell High School student caused panic across several districts as parents and kids shared screenshots from Snapchat.
That's what was overwhelming to the school and law enforcement and our central dispatchers.
The director of Plainwell Public Safety says the student responsible for the post admitted he made it all up. That investigation is still ongoing.
We're not going to give in to people who continually feel like they can threaten our either district or society and totally disrupt our normal functioning.
With no real threat to student safety, Plainwell Community Schools stayed open with police on campus.
I've had to pull people away a couple times a day just so they can take the regular routine stuff.
So it's a drain on resources, time?
Correct, very much so.
The unfounded threat in Plainwell closed neighboring Otsego Public Schools, already on edge after 18-year-old Peter Trudell was arrested this week accused of threatening to open fire inside the high school.
The legal system will play out, and so I think it's important for our students to see that.
Using this as a teachable moment, school districts are talking to kids about reporting possible threats.
You know, they were frightened.
After convincing her kids it's safe to go to school, Abby Healy is calling on schools without resource officers like Plainwell and Otsego to do more. Otsego Public Schools are back open tomorrow with police on campus. They're also planning meetings with parents over the next couple of weeks to talk about what's working and what is not working with school security. Plainwell is having similar discussions. Live in the newsroom, I'm Rachel Glazer.
Scared to go to school, some local students say that's how they feel right now. They are now demanding that state lawmakers take action to change that.
And we know that more guns is not the answer.
Well, Kalamazoo Central High School students and local lawmakers were among a group that descended on the state capitol in Lansing today, demanding action on gun violence. Their call to action comes 8 days, of course, after the Florida high school massacre that killed 17 students and faculty members.
News Channel 3's Mike Krapsik covered today's rally. He is in Lansing now to tell us what they're demanding from state lawmakers.
Earlier, 8 Kalamazoo Central High School students stood on the steps of the Capitol along with top Democrats. They all say something needs to change.
Because we are just getting started.
8K Central students who launched an online petition that went viral called Students Fighting Guns Since Adults Won't are now front and center.
Our petition now has over 100,000 signatures.
In a push to get state lawmakers to reform gun laws.
But the truth is, I am scared to go to school, and keeping the guns out of hands of people who shall not have them will save lives.
Kalamazoo students were joined by a number of top Democrats in the state, all pushing for lawmakers to sign a pledge to toughen gun laws before March 9th.
That this is about spontaneous people across the state of Michigan deciding enough is enough. We need to act on these common sense gun violence prevention legislation in Lansing.
The F9 Southwind ground floor.
While at the Capitol today,
we feel like we're unsafe and we're trying to get some action done. We're trying to push something.
So you're saying like how many lives have to be lost?
These students met personally with a number of lawmakers.
We're glad that legislators are starting to listen and hope that more people will open their doors to us and just hear what we have to say.
But the group came away disappointed since no GOP lawmakers agreed to meet with them.
It's very disappointing because we're looking to actually create sensible laws and common sense gun legislation that they preach all the time, but no one's actually interested in doing what they preach.
But still, these students continue to fight.
We want our legislators to be there to listen. We want Fred Upton in our district to listen to us. We want them to hear our voice.
The Kalamazoo students say they've been talking with students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. They hope to band together in the future. Reporting from the state capitol, Mike Krapsik, News Channel 3.
No heat, no refrigerator, no bathroom. Catastrophic flooding has made that one woman's new reality. Still ahead, how she is trying to ride out a natural disaster. Welcome back to News Channel 3 live at 6. I'm Kate Tillotson.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Dominiani. Heavy rain is really wreaking havoc on West Michigan tonight as water pours into homes from overflowing rivers and streams. In many places, the flooding is only going to get worse before it gets any better.
One Kalamazoo woman we spoke with today says she can't use her heat, her refrigerator, or her bathroom. Meteorologist Christina Anthony shows us the nightmare she is dealing with. All new at 6.
Jeannie Kendall owns a home at the corner of Lamont and Carlton Avenue in Kalamazoo. She has been paddling back and forth to dry land for 3 days.
It's a nightmare.
Her 15-year-old grandson pulls her to the road so she can get groceries.
We're running low on stuff. The fridge is unplugged because we can't use it. So I guess we're living on lunch meat sandwiches and a prayer.
The Kalamazoo River flows just behind her house. It spilled onto her land after days of heavy rainfall and snowmelt. It will continue rising through the weekend.
I can't go to school right now because I need to try my best to help my family get through this.
With nearly 3 feet of water outside already and 20 inches of water inside, Kendall isn't sure what she will do.
I'm actually disabled. I'm not supposed to be able to walk more than 2 or 3 feet without my cane or my walker. So, and to go to the bathroom right now, it's, oh my God, there's no word. We're using a bucket.
And that was Christina Anthony reporting. Kendall's family plans on setting up a GoFundMe page to help with cleanup costs. As soon as we get that information, we will post it to our website at WWMT.com.
Well, of course, it's all about river flooding right now all around West Michigan. And here's some of the latest river reports here coming from the major rivers here. And of course, not every river, not every tributary listed in this report. But of course, you can find out more about that on our website. In the meantime, the Kalamazoo River at Comstock, for example, has turned into a pretty big item here as the flood area, it looks like, is going to be getting a little bit more major. So here's the latest on that. The peak is at 11.4 feet. That's going to be Friday night. Tomorrow night, the record is at 10.9 feet. So this is projecting here a record flood along the Kalamazoo River at the Comstock station. Now the St. Joe River at Three Rivers. Christina Anthony just reporting from that area. The peak is going to be Saturday morning at 11.2 feet. The record is at 11.8 feet. And by the way, these are all considered to be major floods, whether they exceed or meet that record or not. And then the Grand River in downtown Grand Rapids, the peak is at 21.5 feet. That's going to be Saturday afternoon. And as you see, the record is at 21.9 feet. So very close to a record. Let's check in right now on the Grand River. This is looking right now in downtown Grand Rapids. And as you can see, the river is certainly way up. It is not too far underneath the Blue Bridge there. And the river is going to continue rising there as well. Well, in the meantime, how about some other scenes here? This is along Paw Paw River here. Thanks to Julie from Lawrence. And as we squeeze this full, she says that tree line is supposed to be where her backyard ends. But as you can see, the Paw Paw River has redefined where Julie's backyard ends. Thanks very much, Julie, for sharing. Don't forget, we'd love to see your pictures. Share them using our app. And thanks for helping us tell the story of this flooding around West Michigan. Well, we're on guard now for a couple of more areas of rain. The good news is the first one anyway will be on the lighter side. Tracking that right now on live Doppler radar. It's quiet here in West Michigan and will be for this evening. Tomorrow morning, the rain that right now is making a beeline in our direction, coming right in through Missouri, headed towards St. Louis, will eventually be making its way to West Michigan. In fact, our model here is showing hour by hour it will be arriving between about 5 and 7 o'clock in the morning. The good news is our temperatures here are above freezing. More good news, this won't last long. It'll be out by noon. We'll be dry tomorrow afternoon. And it looks like the rainfall will be rather light from this. The next batch moving through Saturday evening may be a little bit heavier. Right now, skies around the area, partly cloudy, mostly cloudy, 41 in Kalamazoo, 41 in Battle Creek, 40 in Allegan. We're in the upper 30s, low 40s all around. Here's the outlook then for tonight. Cloudy this evening with rain arriving after midnight. We'll stay above freezing, so no problem out there with freezing rain tomorrow. Morning light rain, then mostly cloudy in the afternoon with a high of 46 degrees. Here's the 7-day forecast, and as you can see, we're going to be seeing more rain in here Saturday night into Sunday morning. Kate?
Keith, thank you. The Western Michigan football program announces its complete 2018 schedule today. Andy Pepper has the details, including a new date for the Broncos season opener coming up next in sports.
The WMU football program announcing its 2018 schedule today, although we'll still have to wait until June or so for a finalized list of start times. This we know, the Broncos will be featured at least 4 times on national television, with 2 other potential TV games still up in the air, including the September 8th matchup at Michigan. Let's take a peek. Western's opener against Syracuse has been moved up a day to Friday, August 31st, and will be televised on the CBS Sports Network. The Broncos' annual Communiversity game this year against Delaware State will be held on September 15th. Western will open up MAC play on the 29th at Miami. The Broncos' 95th annual homecoming game is October 6th against Eastern. Western with a chance to bring home the victory cannon 2 weeks later up in Mount Pleasant. The Broncos then jumping right into their midweek schedule, a.k.a. MACtion, with a home game against Toledo on Thursday the 25th. The Salute to Heroes game is on November 1st. Western will close out the regular season on Tuesday, November 20th against NIU. Speaking of Tim Lester's Broncos, Western holding its second spring practice early this morning inside the Sealy Center. Coach Lester making One thing quite clear today, Western is going to throw the ball a lot this spring. The reason, twofold. Western doesn't have a whole lot of healthy running backs right now. Jamari Bogan and Levante Bellamy still rehabbing their respective season-ending leg injuries. The other reason is that junior quarterback John Wassink, whose own season was cut short after suffering a broken collarbone in that 27 overtime game against against Buffalo rather, needs a whole lot of reps in the Broncos' new offense.
We're throwing a lot more than we normally would right now. Everyone knows it. I've already warned the running backs and O-line. We're going to throw it, right now. And we're going to run it enough, but we definitely need to continue to work and develop our passing game.
Oh, it's great to be throwing it more at the start of spring ball. One of my old coaches used to say repetition is the mother of all learning. So when you repeat something, you're going to learn it better. So when we repeat all these pass plays, they kind of get ingrained into your head and you get better at them.
We're going to continue to see some showers tomorrow morning, but the rain will be light. Watch out for the flooding.
All right, thanks for choosing News Channel 3 tonight.
More tonight at 10 and 11.